he said, Jeanie, don't worry. The day he puts on a Laker uniform and he walks out on the floor at the Forum, he's never going to leave.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to bring Phil back.
Oh, my God, me too.
And he really wanted to coach you.
A couple of days before that, I had talked to Phil on the phone.
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking to Phil, I'm like, man, I've been wanting this my whole life to be able to, one, play with Kobe Bryant and get coached by Phil Jackson and run the triangle offense. And then like 2 days later, they signed Mike. And I was like, uh-oh.
We won in 2020, thanks to a big part of you bringing us that championship.
Lob under to Howard with the left hand, above the rim.
Up top, Howard throws it down. This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers.
I was sad I wanted to come back. And I don't know what had happened. What I was told was that you guys didn't have an offer for me.
I mean, I guess
I'm in shape for basketball, so Jeanie, give me one more chance. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the greatest podcast ever, Above the Rim with Dwight Howard. And we have a great, amazing episode for you guys today. Oh my God, today is going to be crazy. Woo! I cannot wait to introduce my next guest. But before we start, I need you guys to hit that subscribe button, like and comment, because Laker Nation, today is going to be crazy. We got one of the baddest, most beautiful, greatest, most awesome, dedicated, determined women of all time here today, joining the greatest podcast ever. So before we start, we want to give her flowers. I wish I had some real flowers here.
no need.
But we have the great Jeanie Buss, everyone. Woo! Wow. So I am so grateful, first of all, to have you on the podcast. It means so much to me because I've watched you, like basically grow. And I know I'm younger than you, but, as someone who's been in the NBA for 18 years, it's just like, wow, this woman is breaking barriers. She's doing so much in women's sports, and she should get more credit for what she's done, So thank you for being here. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm really happy to see you. I've been watching you on Dancing with the Stars and really enjoying your performances, and you're really proving, who you are as an athlete and how hard you work, and it really shows on the dance floor. So I'm happy to be here, and I think I appreciate what you said, but I'm just doing my job, and trying to do the best I can.
I think it has to be more than just your job. I think you really, everything that you touch, everything that you put your mind and your hands to has become gold. And it's just like since how did this all begin? Like, were you always this like ambitious, go-getter, or was it something that you saw that made you that way, or was it just in you all from the beginning?
For me, my dad really believed in, what I could do. Mm-hmm. And he always made sure that I, my dreams were big. And when I was 11 or 12 years old, he sat me down to watch a tennis match. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much you know about this, but back in the 70s, there was something called the Battle of the Sexes. And Billie Jean King, who was the top women's tennis player at the time, was challenged by Bobby Riggs, kind of, not a top pro, but, had a great tennis career, but a big mouth. Mm-hmm. And he kept talking about how women's tennis, is second fiddle to men's tennis. Mm-hmm. And he challenged Billie Jean to a tennis match. And my dad said he wanted me to watch it because he said, this is going to change the world. And what he wanted me to see was a woman competing on an, even platform against a man, right? That it didn't matter. Don't be put in the corner by
Nobody.
your gender, right? Like anything is possible. So, he, over the years, I just wanted to work in the family business. And he saw that I had determination. He gave me a lot of challenges that I had to, figure out how to solve problems. And when I was a senior in high school, he bought the Forum, the LA Kings hockey team, and the Lakers.
Dang.
And
in high school?
when I was a senior in high school,
That's
and
crazy.
in that same year, he drafted Magic Johnson. So he's really the person that could turn things to gold. And when you own an arena and you have a hockey team and a basketball team, that takes up about 100 nights out of 365 nights a year. So he challenged me to find other things to put into the arena. So we tried everything: indoor soccer, roller hockey, indoor arena football, like anything, gymnastics, tennis. And, so he saw that, he could throw something at me, and I tried to figure out a way to make it happen. Even to the point when I was 25 years old, he sent me and Linda Rambis, who I've been working with for,
Wow.
30,
that
over
is
30
a long
years.
time.
He sent us to Russia. And here I am, like a 25-year-old, going to Russia to negotiate with the cultural ministry to try to bring the Moscow Circus to Los Angeles. And I mean, I didn't really understand all the political implications of making a trip like that. But he saw that I was fearless, and he fed my ambition. And, and I was happy just working for him. It was never about, someday I want to, run the whole empire. It was just really like, what do you want me to do today, Dad? What's on your list? How can I help? And, and that's really why he had the confidence and the faith in me to put me in the position that I'm in today.
Because he knew that whatever it was, you would do it to the best of your ability. And it's not like you were doing it because you wanted to, you wanted the glory. You doing it because you wanted to make your dad proud.
Right.
And that's so amazing. So being a female in this industry, like, how difficult, like, we hear about it, and I'm a man, so I can't understand it. But we hear about it a lot. Like, how difficult, is it in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, this is going back, to the 80s and the 90s. And, there were always, like I was one of the few women in the business. And what would happen is the men would, say, well, we're going to go play golf today. Not even invite me to join them because I'm a girl, right? Or they're going to a strip club. Like, leave me out. It was always like, how can we just kind of put her in the corner?
In a corner, yeah.
And, so that really wears on you. And I realized that I'm in a highly competitive business. And if they can take advantage and kind of marginalize me by not including me in whatever outing that they were doing, that they were winning by doing that. So I had to stand my ground, and I had to, kind of remind them that that wasn't cool, and, and kind of force my way, and, I'm really happy as what I've seen now, 25 years later, how many women are pursuing, roles in business, the sports media business. It's very exciting for me because I know what it meant to me when I was a 12-year-old seeing Billie Jean King
do what she did.
What she did. And if I can be an inspiration to the next generation because they see what's possible, the first woman to win a championship in the NBA. And,
you have 6. You got Michael Jordan numbers. That is crazy. And you are a pioneer, for what's been going on with women. And it's like, that's why we want to give you your flowers for what you have done, because people may not, talk about it as much, but what you have done is making the WNBA and the Sparks and all these teams so much better. The women the lives that you have changed. How your father and your relationship growing up, did that the impact that he had on you, was that the reason that is just driven you so far to this day?
Yeah, because he and I would stress to any father of a daughter how important that belief, as now the slogan is a girl dad, and how much that empowered me, and taught me how to be fearless, because if my dad thinks I can do it, then I can do it, and
that's good. I want to ask you about that, because I have 2 daughters, and they're teenagers now, 14 and 13, and I'm at that place where it's like, how could I, get that in their brain? Like, you can really do anything you put your mind to. Like, if it's you want to graduate from college and be, astrophysics, whatever it may be. If you want to do sports, like, you can actually do anything. Like, I want to be able to impart as much as I can to my kids. Like, what kind of advice would you give me?
Well, I think what you were saying is exactly right. Like, anything is possible, but what I would stress is, like, you have to pursue your passion. Because if you're not passionate about something, then it is a job. It's something you dread every day. And so, really finding what it is that you believe in, and what inspires you every day to be good at whatever it is that you're pursuing, but be committed to something. And I think, social media is really difficult. And I am grateful I didn't grow up in a time of social media, because it's very distracting, and it can undermine the confidence of young people.
That is very true.
Because you hear the negative, you don't hear the positive, and it's overwhelming. And I think, as particularly for young women, it's it's really important that
we cover them.
Yeah.
I think it's super important now, like, especially with my daughters, like, trying to just cover them from, it's hard for them they're going to see so much because of what's on social media and stuff like that, but it's like, man, I want that innocence is so important. And, you got it. That father has to be that strong backbone, and the girls need their fathers. They need that balance, because like I tell my daughters all the time, this world is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm here to protect you as much as I can. And when you have to leave and go off for college, and after college, have your own life, my words are the only thing that I could give you. And growing up, that's my time to actually show you and guide you in the right direction, because it's tough out here, and I feel for them in a way, because it's like, man, I don't want them to ever hurt or go through pain, but in order to grow and learn, they have to experience certain things, and they do need those women in their life like you to inspire, to talk to, so I'm just proud to say that I'm a girl dad, and my kids are so much enjoying, like, the things that I've been doing for them. So like your father, he bought the Forum in 1979? Mm-hmm. How old were you? You said you was a senior?
I was 17 years old.
Did you have your prom there?
No, I didn't. We had
I
it
would have
at
told
the...
my dad to have my prom at the Forum.
That's not a bad idea, no.
Oh, that would have been great.
It was. I got to see a lot of concerts and sit on the front row, so that I had a lot of fun, for sure.
Why did he want to buy the team, the Lakers?
He wasn't from Los Angeles. He was born in Wyoming. And he visited, his mom took him on vacation. They came to Los Angeles when he was a kid. And he was just blown away. And he was like, someday I'm going to live there. And he, eventually graduated from college, then went to graduate school at USC. And he started making money in real estate because he had such a mathematical mind. But he really had a passion for sports. He had an opportunity to go to Harvard or Yale to study in his postgraduate, but he chose USC because they had a good football team. That's who he was. He loved his sports. And he saw that the Lakers were, even with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the team, they were only selling half the tickets. The other half of the arena was empty. And he felt like, this is something that I know how to do. I know how to market. I know how to sell. And he started working on, the owner at the time was Jack Kent Cooke, who also owned the Washington NFL team. And at that time, he wasn't living in Los Angeles. He had moved to Nevada because he was going through a divorce. And he needed the money to pay off his divorce. And so my dad started working on him for a couple years, and he finally agreed to sell him the team. And, he knew that he had a vision of what he wanted the Lakers to be. And when you hear the nickname Showtime, that's really what he wanted. He wanted to put on a show. And, people will look and say, the Lakers were the first team to have a dance team.
Oh, yeah.
And he created the Laker Girls. And
the Laker Girls.
Right, the Laker Girls. And the reason he did that,
to the Laker Girls.
And it was about equal opportunity, because he said, Jeanie, when the guys are playing, they get the floor. But when they take a break, now the women get the floor. And so that's why the Laker Girls were the top dancers. And he just wanted it to be constant entertainment. So he brought in a band. So he had a live band.
Y'all had a band at the game?
Yes. And so
at the Forum?
Yeah, the Laker band. And that's actually, the band was set up next to where he sat at. He sat up at the top in the worst seats in the house. And I'm like, Dad, why do you sit in the worst seats in the house? And he goes, because I make them more valuable, because I sit there. Then people say, yeah, I got tickets and I'm sitting next to the owner.
Yeah. So
Like,
was he the originator of the... That is so tough.
Yeah, like before suites were ever built at arenas, he had the vision of what they could be. And, he just saw things. But really what was important to him was he loved the city of LA. And LA took him in as one of their own.
They welcomed him in,
and he wanted to give LA a team that they could be proud of, because he felt that the media only paid attention to the Celtics, the Knicks, the 76ers, like there was an East Coast bias. Yeah. And so
crazy.
he wanted to make the Lakers the best team in the NBA. And here we were when we won in 2020, thanks to a big part of you bringing us that championship. That brought us to 17, and we were tied with the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
And then them winning this past year just really broke my
Oh,
heart
man.
because they got to banner 18, which means
Then
now
they
we
got
have to
one
win
ahead of
2
the
more.
Lakers.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing to see the impact that your father has not only left on LA, but the world. The Lakers are the most popular team. Did you ever see from the time your dad bought the Forum that you guys would? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
He had that vision though.
Yeah.
You know, and he wanted this, and he poured everything he had into it.
Yeah.
And
So that's amazing for you guys at home. What you're seeing is someone who put every piece of energy that they had into
their passion.
not a job. They put it into their passion, and their passion, look what it did for him. It provided for not only him, but for everyone in LA and who loves basketball around the world. So just to remember that whatever dream you got, it's not about the money. It's not about fame. It's not about glory. It's about the love. And when you put all the love and passion into whatever you're invested in, you're going to get out what you put in. That's why the Lakers are the greatest team in NBA world history, because of Dr. Buss. So it's just amazing to see how all the way from the Forum to the Staples Center to now we have the crypto, is it crypto.com?
Yep.
And you got, it's just the legacy of the Lakers has gotten so big. I've traveled to many places around the world. I actually was in the Philippines last summer, and they have this arena that's dedicated to the Lakers. And on the inside, they have all the Laker great jerseys. They have it's a Lakers floor, purple and gold. And I was so honored because they actually retired my jersey with the rest of the Laker greats. And they had a ceremony for me. And it was just amazing to see how the impact of one man has impacted billions of people around the world to the point where they love the Lakers. People bleed purple and gold all over the world, and it's just such amazing. The legacy of your father and the Buss family, like how do you think that is made LA?
Well, I mean, it really started with my dad's vision of making LA proud. And so we've just carried that on
Yes.
and continued in his, with the vision that he had. Now, it's what, like, the team is always the platform, right? And so the Laker team platform is very popular, but now you put the players on the platform and it gets amplified,
yes,
right?
yes.
And so the personalities, when he bought the team, the Lakers had the #1 draft pick, and he knew he wanted Magic Johnson.
Yes.
And he was told at that time, you had to play out your college eligibility. So when you were drafted, you were 21, 22 years old. Well, Magic had to go in the draft as what they called a hardship. He had to petition to be allowed to play in the NBA.
Are you
And
serious?
So he only played 1 year at Michigan and then came to the Lakers at 19 years old. Well, the front office was telling my dad, we should really draft David Greenwood from UCLA, like an older player that will have an immediate impact. But my dad felt that Magic would have an immediate impact, but it was the style
That he had,
and the
yeah.
joy that he played with that captured my dad's imagination. And the two of them were like, it was like they were soulmates.
Yeah.
Even though they came from such different backgrounds and the
yes.
age difference and everything,
is so
they
crazy.
just were meant to be together, and they complemented each other. And Magic was exactly the right person
fit, the
that
right
we
person.
needed, right?
I heard, I don't know how true it is, but did he want to leave after a couple years? Did
Yes.
he say that?
Yeah, he said it to me. I was back then, the draft wasn't a big media event. It was, they basically did it in New York, and then they called the players and said, you've been drafted by. So, Magic found out he'd been drafted by the Lakers, so now they put him on a plane to come to Los Angeles to sign a contract, to meet, Dr. Buss. And so I was at my dad's house in Bel Air, and the doorbell rang, and my dad said, Jeanie, that's going to be Magic and Bill Sharman, the general manager.
Wow.
And will you answer the door? I have to go upstairs and, I asked them if they'd like something to drink or, just talk to them for a while, and then I'll come downstairs. So they come in, and when I opened the door, Magic just had this smile, and it was like the stars lit up. It was just, there was just something. He has the charisma of, a superstar. And, and he was 19 and I was 17. I mean, we weren't that much, I would have gone to school with him. So, now we sit down, and Magic was like, I'm really excited that the Lakers drafted me, and I'm going to sign a 3-year deal, and then I want to go home and play for my home team in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I went,
Ooh.
Oh, wait a second. And I ran upstairs, and I'm like, Dad, he just said he's only going to stay 3 years. And, and my dad was like combing his hair. My dad had a very slick hairstyle. He's combing his hair, and he never even looked at me. He was, busy doing his hair. He said, Jeanie, don't worry. The day he puts on a Laker uniform and he walks out on the floor at the Forum, he's never going to leave.
Yeah.
And he's never left LA. My dad knew. It was amazing. So.
That is so crazy. Like, how was so Magic was there he played with Kareem. Like, how was that seeing that up close? Like, you got Kareem, the old head who's been in the league. How long was he in the league at that time?
That's a good question. Probably, 10 or 12 years, maybe.
Jesus. And then he came, and then 10 or 12 years is like a long time. And he ended up playing, 12 more years?
Yeah.
So, how was that watching this young Magic Johnson coming in, smiling, he want to, have a good time. And I'm pretty sure Cap was probably like, man, he was off it.
He was not, it was not his thing at all. Like, because Magic was always, the very first preseason game down in San Diego, Lakers were playing the Clippers, and we had a come from behind victory. And Magic was so excited, he jumped in Kareem's arms, and you can just see Kareem like, what are you doing? This is preseason. And it was
preseason.
It was just two different personalities, but Magic was so smart because he always deferred to Kareem as the captain. He's the leader of our team, not me, Kareem. And that was, Magic really was a natural at team building from, inside, like knowing how to get everybody involved. I guess that's what
even at a young age like that.
I guess that's like a point guard, right?
That's crazy.
They know how to get somebody's game going, how to make everybody feel included, and that was such a gift. And the captain didn't have to be the face. He didn't have to do the interviews. Let Magic be the cover of the magazines and all the stuff that Kareem really didn't want to do. He's an introvert.
Magic would do it,
Yeah.
So it's crazy because I actually met Magic when I was in 10th grade. And it was kind of sad because he was one of my favorite players. Actually, he was my dad's favorite player.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I had a Magic Johnson was it VHS? That's what they call it?
Yeah.
And it was like a workout video. That was the only thing I ever had to watch basketball. I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch no games.
Wow.
We had 3 channels, channel 17, 36, and 69. That was the only channels we had. And so when I had this VHS tape, I would just watch him show me drills, and then I would go outside and work on the drills. And I was like, man, I want to be a 6'9" point guard like Magic Johnson. Like he was like my model. I'm like, okay, I got to learn how to handle the basketball. So that's all I did. I wanted to play point guard, and I actually played point guard up until I got to the NBA. So it's pretty crazy.
Because everybody wanted to put you
at the center. They wanted me to be a center.
You're a five.
It was crazy, but I met Magic at he started doing clothes or something back then, and he had like this business event in Atlanta. And so we get to the convention center, and they're like, there goes Magic. I'll go up to him, I'm going to the NBA. He's like, I don't think you're going to the NBA. You're not big enough. You're too small. No. And I was like, damn, you just shot my dreams down. I felt kind of bad. I never forgot that. But it inspired me actually to keep working hard. And I don't know if he was doing that to kind of...
Of course he was.
Because I didn't know how to take that. But that moment right there is like, after that, I started working in the gym. I was getting up at 4 a.m. every morning because I wanted to go to the league. And I ended up making it. So like, just Magic, his inspiration from those tapes, from me watching him doing all those moves. That's why I smile so much on the court from watching Magic Johnson. I thought it was cool. I was like, man, Magic Johnson smiling, he having a good time. He throwing no-look passes. Like, I know I didn't actually get to see him play, but that was the only tape I had. And I didn't know a lot about NBA players. I knew Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain. And those are the players I had, I knew a lot about, you know, so it was just so crazy.
I've never heard that story. That's really
with
interesting.
Magic.
No, yeah, that you only had, like, you didn't really get the exposure
I
that
didn't.
a kid would normally get
With
at a young
basketball.
age, like to be able just to like watch content and
I really
games.
didn't know nothing.
You had one tape.
I didn't have no basket.
Wow.
Like my brother, at first before we got a basketball goal, we were outside playing in the street, just dribbling the basketball. Because I would watch the tape, and I would go outside and do all the drills that Magic Johnson told me to do. And I was like, I'm going to be a 6'9", 6'10" point guard like Magic Johnson. So it was just crazy. Then Magic Johnson went and bought a theater right up the street from my house. So like all this stuff, I'm like, man, it's meant to be. Like, Magic is my hero. You know, it's just crazy. And then to play for the Lakers, to be a part of all the legacy, it's just so crazy. How was Magic as like, he went from a young player, he played his whole career, and then he was executive of the team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we need to like go over the, he only had like a 12-year career until he had to retire because of HIV. And I mean, he made a couple comebacks. He got to play in the Olympics in '92, the first Dream Team. But it shortened his career. We didn't have, I mean, he could have played 20 years, right? And so he really embraced becoming the face of, something that people didn't really understand. And he spent years taking that mission on. And I mean, when you think about just what he accomplished as a basketball player, but then what he accomplished in terms of philanthropy and like being, the face of something that people were scared of and didn't understand, and that he would take that on. And then his career as a businessman.
It's just,
it's like he really is like, something special, and that's what makes the Laker brand. It isn't just about the team, it's about the people who wear the uniform and their stories and what they go on to do even after they play.
They're done playing basketball. Like how it's just amazing watching him, but it's not just him. Like, you watch someone else, Shaq, bigger than life personality, just like Magic. And it's just like both of them, after their careers in the NBA, it's like they've even done greater things on the business side. And I think it's because of their charisma, because of their, their attitude of let's bring people together, let's have fun. But then on the flip side, they're doing the philanthropy, they're giving back,
just me growing up, I saw a lot of things that Magic did. The Magic theaters, you know, it was right up the street from my house, and I was always at the theater because of that. So just seeing him do that, then the clothing that he used to have, then owning the Dodgers, all these different things. It's just like, how does he do it?
I don't know.
Because I'm like, for real, it's incredible to watch. And, you know, and it's an honor just to see it, to know that this is why he is Magic Johnson, one of the greatest. And it's just like all these Laker greats, they have this DNA in them. And it's so special. You know, we talked about this on episodes, and not just Laker greats, it's a lot of these players who play in the NBA. It's just like we have a different type of energy in us to where we feel like we can accomplish anything we put our mind to. And the visionary who started all this, Jeanie Buss, it's just crazy. You know, he had that in his mind, in his heart, like, I can do anything I put my mind to. He get these teams, and look what he did. And that was in his vision. His vision was to make this team the best team, and he has successfully done that. They have had some of the greatest players to ever grace the court on the Lakers team, you know. So how is that, you know, coming from the Forum all the way to today's age, and you've had player after player after player. If you could name this, I know this probably going to be hard.
No, I'm not doing that.
I know this is going to be hard.
You're always getting in trouble. Like, you can't name a favorite.
No, not a favorite. I wasn't going to say a favorite because I know that is very tough.
Right.
What about if you had to start? Two questions. One is going to be off the court, and then the other one's going to be basketball.
Okay.
The off the court. If you had a starting five of Laker greats,
no, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Is that too difficult?
Well, it would be. I think my dad was asked that question one time, so I'm going to borrow his answer. His answer was, the starting point guard, Magic Johnson.
Yes.
Shooting guard, Magic Johnson. Power forward, Magic Johnson.
That's
Small
not
forward,
fair.
Magic Johnson. Center, Magic Johnson. Because you know what? He could play every one of those positions.
Yes, but that's not right.
I know.
You got all these greats. Like, it's so incredible.
I know.
If I was to have a starting five of Lakers, I'm going to have, this is so tough. You can't even do that.
You can't.
You can't do that.
And even from before my dad bought the team, you're talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, like these great players that were pre-Jerry Buss, right? So like, there's been something special about the Lakers, but I also think internationally, what basketball I think is going to continue to grow, and maybe will eventually replace soccer as the most popular sport in the world.
I think it's getting close to happening because this social media, the way that they're trying to get the games to be so interactive, and then the technology in itself, like the game is, I've seen women dunking like LeBron, and I'm like, what is going on?
I love it.
It's crazy. It is. And it's unreal. So, like, do you think there will ever be a woman to play for the Lakers?
We were talking about that last night, and Meta World Peace. I was at a dinner where he was, and we were talking about that. And I wouldn't want. I mean, I think there are women that maybe could now. But it just takes away from the WNBA. From the rest of the league. But what I did say, and I had actually started having conversations with Kobe about this, I would love to see men and women's team together, like men and women playing together
on one team.
Yeah, and that it would still be 5-on-5, but you'd have to have at least 3 of one sex. So it would be like 3 men and 2 women, or 3 women and 2 men.
Yes.
And what that would mean to watch men and women work together to win a game, I think
Yes.
would really go
I
far.
think that'd be really good because
Right?
not only just for the sport, but I think in life in general, because it'll show people like, hey, we can actually work together in all areas, whether it be sports, whatever it may be. Like we could do this.
And the first people to embrace the WNBA were the NBA players.
Yes.
They came to games. They love it. They know the girls can play.
Yes.
And like that endorsement meant so much. And, so that like, because I was like, we were talking about Gigi and how competitive she was. And I'm like, she's going to go and win 4 national championships in college. Then she's going to kill it in the WNBA. And she's going to be like, well, what's the next challenge? And I'm like, wouldn't it be great to see like a co-ed
league or something?
It would be so much fun. Why not?
Have you seen the 7'5" woman in China who plays?
No, is she good?
She's 7'5".
That's insane.
That's insane.
Right.
So like, what if she? Well, see, yeah, I understand that you don't want to take away from the WNBA because the WNBA is booming right now.
Right,
It's
right.
booming. It's becoming like, it's crazy that I think 2 women, not taking away from all the greats that have played, but right now because of our social media and the status of it, I believe that 2 women have really catapulted what the rest of the women who came before have already laid the foundation for, and that's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And it's no offense to the women that came before, because I've been watching WNBA since Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Miller, Cheryl Swoops, all those
Lisa
women back in the
Leslie.
Lisa Leslie. So we're not taking away nothing from you. You guys have been so amazing. You women have been so amazing. I'm just trying to get the fact out that these 2 women, because of the era that we're living in with social media and the status of social media, they have opened a lot of people's eyes to what you women have already done. So we just want to put that out there. That
It really ties back to what we first talked about, because I see 2 athletes who are passionate about what they do, have committed 100% of their focus to being great at their sport. And that's exactly the advice you were talking about with the girl dad, is like, be committed to something, find what you're passionate about, and
you
throw
gotta
yourself
follow through.
into it.
You have to follow through. That's the hardest part for a lot of kids in general, is following through, because when something doesn't go your way the first time, what do most kids and people do?
Yeah.
They stop, but you gotta follow through even if it doesn't happen the first time. And I think as athletes and you as a businesswoman, you understand that sometimes those deals and talking to someone the first time, it might not come through.
Yeah.
So you gotta continue, you gotta push forward. And if this person is not with it, they're not with the vision that you have, that's fine. Everybody's not going to see your vision, and that's cool. And it's your job to show them at the end.
Well, it's unfortunate, but most kids quit youth athletics at the age of 12 because of poor coaching, or for that reason, not being able to see a pathway, because things didn't work out the way they
first
wanted
time,
to,
yes.
and you give up. It's easy to give up because you don't know there's a much bigger picture here
can't
at play.
see it, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You get frustrated and you think it's a dead end, and you give up. And that to me that needs to change. Like, sports means so much to our young people in terms of their social lives, showing how to overcome challenges.
Yes.
And for me, I knew I wanted to do something with women's sports. And we had long sold the Sparks before we moved to the crypto.com arena. So we weren't involved in the WNBA anymore. So I took my own money, not Laker money, my money, and I have invested in something called WOW Women of Wrestling. And it's the only all women wrestling. And the reason I like that, we're going into our 3rd season. We're in syndication across the country, and in 10 other countries overseas. But what happened was in the 70s, they passed something called Title IX. And Title IX basically said that if you have a men's team in college, you have to provide the same equal opportunity for women. And so
amazing.
that's how so many women started playing sports
in college?
because they could get a scholarship. So it became like sports became part of it. When I was growing up, that didn't exist. So sports wasn't kind of part of your calendar. I played basketball, never made varsity. I played golf. I wanted to be involved. I loved being part of a team, but it wasn't easy. But Title IX made it, created all these opportunities. So now we have, these thousands and thousands of great female athletes, but unless you're going into the WNBA or a professional golfer or tennis player, there's not a lot of opportunities.
Right.
If you're a field hockey player,
Or
now
rugby.
there's your rugby.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
there's professional women's soccer league, and they're trying to do volleyball, but it just and I thought I need to invest in women and give opportunities. And I thought that wrestling is something that we can train good athletes to do.
Yes.
They have to learn how to throw their personality out there too.
But I think that's smart also, not just for the sport part of it, but also so women can, like I had my daughters taking self-defense classes.
That's so smart.
So the reason is so they can always be in shape.
Yep.
You never know what can happen.
Yep.
And, I never want them to walk around in fear, but I think something like having that wrestling background or fighting background, it gives a woman a type of confidence when they're
Right.
walking somewhere. They know that nobody can mess with them. So that's incredible that you have this.
Well, but they ask me why wrestling, and I say, I know it's wrestling, it's good versus evil, right? But it's women fighting their own battle. Now, whether they're right or wrong, they're willing
To get out
to
there and
fight
yes,
for
fight it
what
out.
they believe in.
Yes.
And that message is what I want young girls to see, that you have to believe in what is important to you
you.
and be willing to lay
go
it on the
through
line.
You got to lay it on the line.
Right.
That is so important. I hope you women out there listening, young ladies, whatever you are passionate about, there you gotta go 1,000% into it. You can't have nothing else matters but your passion. Nothing else matters. I promise you. Anything that you want, you can get, you can obtain. You have someone here who's a prime example. 6 championships. 6. She got the same amount as Michael Jordan. And she ain't had to put on no shorts or no shoes. She did them in heels. So you can do the same thing, I promise you. And it's so crazy. You're talking about owning a team. I was a couple years ago, actually, when we were in the bubble, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah.
Well, we were in the bubble. I had started talking to a WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream, about purchasing the Atlanta Dream. And I'm a big fan of the WNBA. My mom, I would get her season tickets to the WNBA. I would take all my kids. So I'm like, man, this is perfect. I'm going to retire soon. I get to have an opportunity to have a team and build this team up. I had so many ideas because I have 5 kids, and I'm no longer with the moms of my children, and so I understand that it can be difficult as a single mom raising a child, and so I wanted to spotlight how these women have to play basketball, train, raise a child, do business, do charity work, and still travel around the world, travel city to city and play. It is very difficult. And so I wanted to spotlight that. I wanted to highlight how great these women are by the purchase of this team. And unfortunately, I got into this investment group. I invested $7 million of my own dollars to this team. It was going to be it was a super passion of mine. And they took the money, spent it, but luckily they got arrested, and they're going to be convicted of their crimes. But the good news about it is that I felt like it probably wasn't the right time, and it was probably a lesson that I needed to learn before I step into that side of the industry, because I've always wanted to be an owner of a team, not just for myself, but like your father was telling you, because he want to give back to those people who have helped him and inspired him to be where he's at. And that was why I wanted to get that dream. And because it was perfect. I had a dream to go to the NBA when I was young. This is Atlanta Dream. I'm from Atlanta. And that really shot me down.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because
really
you had all the right intentions, and someone took advantage of that, and that's not right.
And so it was a hard lesson, actually. It was a great lesson for me to learn, because I did not understand how, the business and how to really, really have the proper team, the proper people, everyone, involved before just trying to put out money and thinking that, these people are going to do the right things. So I had to learn a hard lesson. Is there any lessons, hard, tough lessons like that you've had to learn in business?
Oh, yeah. I've had to deal with promoters that, it's that industry can be very shady in terms of how dollars are spent. And I come from, where it's important that the talent, that the players, the talent, the performers get their fair share. And for a long time, promoters, owners of teams got away with a lot. And it wasn't right, and the talent was exploited. And that's something I just don't have
in you.
No patience for, right?
Well, it's so crazy. I think people who haven't been involved with this side of the business understand how it could really take a toll mentally and physically and spiritually from you. Dealing with a lot of shady and bad people. How do you keep yourself grounded? What do you do to keep yourself away from the noise? Because I know it's a lot of noise. You are who you are, so how do you deal with that?
I have good people around me, that I know and trust. My circle is very small, but these are people that I know would have my back. I have a dog that just...
What kind of dog?
A little white Maltese.
Okay, Maltese.
Yeah, and so, she keeps me humble, and because she doesn't care if the team wins or loses. She treats me the same way.
All unconditional love.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love it. And then I got married last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's I'm very happy.
How is marriage like?
I really love it. I really do.
Okay.
I didn't think I would like it as much as I do, but and now I'm a stepmother to a 13-year-old son.
Okay.
So that's new for me too, and he's playing flag football now, and I see how much his teammates have become his friends, and that
bond that they're
Yes.
developing at such a young age. How is that watching? Does it bring you so much joy when his friends are coming over and they're talking and doing work together and stuff like that?
It does, and he's a strong kid, and he doesn't like when he sees people bullying other people, and now he knows how to go about and diffuse the situation.
That's really good,
Especially at a young age with the way social media and everything is going, just to have that maturity to be able to do that. That speaks volumes to the parenting that he's been getting from you guys. So big ups and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So I want to kind of switch gears.
Okay.
I know I haven't talked about this in so long. My first time playing for the Lakers.
Yeah, can we talk about
Oh
that?
my God. That was 20.
No, it was 2012.
2012.
2012. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was such a whirlwind. It was such a whirlwind for me. And I just remember coming from Orlando and everything that was going on. Like, I was so, like, beat up because I had this back surgery.
Yeah.
All these things happening in media. Oh, he's flip-flopping. He doesn't want to get traded, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, like, this is really, really, I didn't know how to handle this because I'm 18 coming into the league. I know at that time I was a little bit older, but I don't know what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know who to run to. I don't know who to really get advice from. I don't know if people that are giving me advice are telling me the right advice. You know, so it was so much going on, and that year was just crazy. It's just crazy, and I just sitting back after the year, looking back now, I'm like, man, I just wish that I didn't allow my emotions to get the best of me because I didn't really understand what was going on.
Well, you were probably getting pulled a lot of different ways.
I was.
And you really didn't have time to build trust with your Laker teammates or your Laker front office or me or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, when you came, it was like, oh wow, this is our next, you know, guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be here for a long time. And you know, and you have to understand from my point of view. I mean, my dad, Dr. Buss, was still alive, but he had, you know, his health was failing. And we had just signed the largest broadcast agreement to broadcast our games. And that was the first year that we were going on the air with our own Laker network.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. I remember
And,
now.
you know, so it was so great to be able to, like, kick it off with you. And, but then, you know, my brother, Jimmy, was running basketball. I wasn't involved in any of the basketball decisions. And at that time, I was in a relationship with Phil Jackson. And he had let Phil go and brought in another coach. And like a couple weeks into that season, he let that coach go. And then it was kind of like, well, who are you going to hire? And I thought he was going to bring Phil back.
Oh my God, me too.
And he really wanted to coach you.
Yes, it was crazy because a couple of days before that, I had talked to Phil on the phone.
Yeah.
And he was like, he wanted to coach me. And for me, when I heard that,
Yeah.
like, even now, I'm getting, like, in my chills in my body because I'm like, this is, in high school, my coach ran the triangle offense.
No, I didn't know
Yes,
that.
he ran the triangle offense because of Phil Jackson and because he wanted me to get acclimated into that system, like playing in the triangle. We had a good guard who actually played for the Lakers too, Javaris Crittenton.
Right.
He was out of jail now, so thank you, Jesus, that he's at home with his family.
Oh, that's great.
That's so amazing. But we ran our triangle, and so when I'm talking to Phil, I'm like, man, I've been wanting this my whole life to be able to, one, play with Kobe Bryant
Yeah.
and get coached by Phil Jackson and run the triangle offense. Like,
This is perfect. He always does great with bigs.
Right.
So that was what I was thinking. And so he told me he's gonna check with his doctors to see if he'll be able to do away games, because right now he will only be able to stay at home.
Right.
So I'm like, well, that's fine, like, as long as you're coaching. And then like 2 days later, they signed Mike.
I know.
And I was like,
uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is going to go well for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a selfish thing, like personal, but I'm like, I don't know if his style is the style that's going to be really good for me.
Well, we had Steve Nash on the team, so it was they reunited what they had done in Phoenix by bringing
Him
Mike
back,
back.
yeah.
But clearly, the choice was to go all in on Steve instead of really what would work best for you. And so I understood why you left, but it like broke my heart because Phil thought he was going to come back because he did get cleared physically. And so he let them know.
Yeah.
And then they called at midnight to tell him that
they were going to
they
get
had
Mike.
hired Mike instead. And it just, it was hard for me. And then everything just kind of.
Yeah, it broke my heart too. Like, and the whole season did, because I just felt like we didn't get a chance.
Right.
And, we had so many injuries, the coaching situation. Then I feel like I didn't understand how to handle the media at that point with the Kobe dynamic with myself. And it's like I felt like they were putting us between each other in certain
absolutely.
ways. And I didn't know how to deal with that because I'm this young buck who just came from my own situation.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't even, to be honest, a lot of this stuff is it's like it happened in a blur.
Yeah.
So like going back on it, like, hell, I was so heartbroken that I had to leave. But at the same time, I was mad too, because I'm like, I don't want to leave.
know, right?
I do not want to leave this place. But like, I was just like, man, they went and got Mike. They didn't want to get Phil. So I'm like thinking to myself, they must really don't. I don't know if I'm going to be that next person that's supposed to be here. And I'm like, man, but I want to be in LA.
I know.
And then it didn't happen. It didn't work out. I do remember the last playoff series against San Antonio. And they kind of made a big deal because I wanted to clarify something, and it's never been clarified. They showed something. I got kicked out the game, the last game.
Oh, yeah, that guy jumped on your back.
Yeah, I got 2 texts, and I was telling the ref, like, yo,
wasn't
they're
right,
kicking,
yeah.
they're killing me down here.
Yeah,
Like, y'all
yeah.
got to do something.
Yeah.
And they gave me another text, and as I'm walking out, who was the GM at the time? Mitch Kupchak. He came to give me a hug. And I guess with the cameras, they thought I was saying something bad to him. And I gave him a hug. I said, they got to do something about the refs, man. I'm hurting.
Somebody just got a quick tee here. He's out of the game. That's his second technical.
What a way to end the year if this is the last game for the Lakers. Dwight Howard has been ejected from the game. All the way back. That is all we will see from Dwight in this crazy year.
And it wasn't nothing against him or the team. I was just so frustrated because they were letting them beat the crap out of me that game, and it was nothing I could do about it.
They were going after your back.
And I just had back surgery.
Yeah.
And so I never got that clarified. I didn't want people to think that I was so mad that I'm trying to get kicked out the game because I didn't want to play. Like, I put my whole body on the line for the Lakers that year, knowing that, first of all, I wasn't even supposed to play this season. I had just got back from the back surgery.
Yep.
I tore my labrum that year. And I still played because I was just like, man, I'm playing for the Lakers. And I remember having a conversation with your dad before he passed, because he wanted to meet with me.
Yeah, he did.
And we had a conversation. I remember him telling me, he was like, Dwight, you're the person I've been wanting on this team for so long.
That is true.
And I was like, are you for real? He was like, yes, man, you have it. You have it in you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, he's telling me this. And then we have the season that we have, and then I leave. And it's been bothering me so much since, because I'm like, why did I leave? What was I thinking? Like all this stuff. Yeah.
Then Kobe got hurt. That's when he tore his Achilles.
He tore his
against
Achilles.
in going into that playoffs. And so I guess things just happened that way. Like we wouldn't have had a team that you could have won on. And so
it was so much, but then it's just like, after that, oh my God, I couldn't go nowhere. The Laker Nation was on my ass. Everywhere I went, oh my God, I was like, fans, this had nothing to do with you guys. Please. I'm talking about every city I played in. It was like when what's his name who dated Kim Kardashian?
Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphries. After he dated her, he got booed every time he went to another city and touched a basketball. That's what it was like for me. Like every place I went, yeah, you left the Lakers. I'm like, oh man. And so then I remember going back to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And this time it was crazy. I wasn't like in my prime or anything like that. And I had just came off back surgery again.
Right.
So I'm just coming off back surgery. I remember the whole summer. I was playing for Washington. I had to have back surgery. And it was crazy because I was playing with this pain in my back.
There's nothing worse.
It was so bad, I couldn't sit on the bench. I had to stand up the whole game unless I laid down. I couldn't sit down on the plane. They had to give me a air mattress bed that they made so I can lay down on the plane. I had to stand up all the bus rides to the hotel and to the airplane, all that stuff. And then on game days, one of the trainers had to put my shoes on and tie them for me because I couldn't reach down and tie them. And I'm still out there playing. And so...
Was it the same injury?
Same injury,
And
lower
what was
disc. It was
just
L4,
disc?
L5. Then
Okay.
it was L4, L5, and then the next one was L5, S1.
Okay.
So when I went to the Lakers both times, I got this much taken out of my back. Both times before the season. And so I remember being in Washington. I told him I got to have surgery because I can't bear this pain no more. I had the surgery, it was successful. I start trying to do my rehab, but they wanted me to come back fast. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hurt myself.
Right.
So I asked him, I said, can you just give me the summer? I'm going to come back in the best shape of my life. I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, and we're going to win the championship. I promise you. They cut me. Well, actually, they didn't cut me. They traded me to Memphis. I called Memphis, and I asked them, can I come down and meet the players and do a mini camp just to get the team together? The owner says, we don't have room for you on the roster. And so I'm like, damn. Okay. So I say, all right, I'm finna go get to it. So I start training. I lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I think my agent at the time called Rob or something. Y'all wanted me to come out to LA. And I came out to LA solo. Nobody came with me. Got to the facility, worked out in front of Rob, and that was history. It was like they signed me, y'all signed me right away. And then the season was just like, perfect. I knew we was gonna win. From the time that I signed till we won, it was no doubt in my mind that we was gonna win. Because every game, it's like, we knew it. It was like, nobody can beat us. Nobody can beat us. And then the whole world stops.
Yeah.
How did you when the whole world stopped, what did you think? Is it going to be no more season? Like, what?
No, we started the season in China. Do you remember? And the Cold War kind of had begun because they were kind of taking down the Laker posters.
People don't know about that. That was
Yeah.
over there, yeah.
Yeah, and then, we come back, so that's October. Then in December, my mom passed away.
I remember, yes.
And then
Sorry
a
to
couple
hear
weeks
that.
later, David Stern passed away.
Yes.
And then, of course, a
Then
couple weeks
Kobe.
after that, Kobe and Gigi. And it was like, it was more than I thought I could take. And certainly the team playing
Kinda
was
gave you some-
our was something that made me feel good. Then we started hearing about the virus and we may have to shut down for a week or 2
Man.
weeks. And then everything just piled on, and it felt like this was the end of the world. Like,
It,
I
yeah,
didn't
it
know.
was crazy. And
Yeah.
it was really Rudy Gobert's fault.
I can't believe
Rudy, you are the defensive player of the decade because you had COVID and you touched all the mics in the interview and you made the whole world shut down. You remember that, what he did? But that was just so crazy. And then when COVID happened, we really thought that it was over with.
Yeah.
And it was like we just put in all this work. Everything has happened. Then the Kobe and Gigi, like that was we were in Philly. Mm-hmm. LeBron had just broke the scoring, it was a scoring record. Mm-hmm. And I remember just sitting there looking at LeBron doing this interview. And I was like, I'm gonna tell him after he finished, like, I'm proud of him. That's a good job because, you know, he just did something that's incredible.
Right.
And then that night, go back to the room and we're talking about LeBron and Kobe and get on the plane. And then that's when we got the news. And it was kind of like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Like, I know when I played with Kobe, you know, we probably didn't always talk and do all that stuff all the time. But that hurt me so bad. And I know it hurt everybody, you know. And it hurt me because I remember him as a teammate and, you know, all the stuff that people say we had. But then after him playing, I'm watching him with his daughters at the games and at, you know, her practices and all the stuff he was doing. I saw him differently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I heard the news and then it said his daughter was with him, it just immediately, like, I was just so, like, devastated. And it was just like I couldn't, it was crazy. And then we had to relive it.
Yeah.
Every single game that we played after that because it was every place we played at, they wanted to do a tribute.
Right.
And so it was so difficult for all of us because we didn't get no chance to really grieve because it was like a ongoing grieving moment for us. And every game was emotional. And it was so crazy. It was so crazy. And I think that time off kind of gave us a chance to breathe for a second.
Yeah.
Because it was so much. Like I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
And I remember like Rob had all of us come together and talk and do all that stuff. And I just was like, it just blew my mind because I know we didn't have the greatest relationship when we were teammates, but he was still my teammate.
Right.
We won an Olympic gold medal together.
Right.
I watched him growing up as a kid.
Exactly.
You know, I played with him. We had fights. He called me soft. We did all this, that, and the third. But I did not want to hear that news. That really broke me, you know. And it broke all of us. It made us closer. Because we looked at him like Batman, like nothing can ever happen to him.
Right.
And, you know, and it's just like in an instant, all our lives would change. And when we got to that bubble, we knew that if we had to throw that ball up and play again.
You know, and you almost didn't make it to the bubble.
I know. I thought I was on my Malcolm X, Kareem Abdul, crazy stuff back then. I don't know. But nah, it was so much going on with the world and
everybody
everything.
Nobody knew what was real and what was like a hoax and what was, you know, but you made it.
Yes. And I'm
And
glad
you were
I
there.
did.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I decided to come play. And, you know, it was just an awesome atmosphere, you know. And then to win, the only thing that we missed is the parade.
I know.
That's the only thing we missed is the parade. And I still want that parade.
know.
Like I've been seeing a parade in my head every day, and I wanted it so bad. We won the championship and no parade. Like,
Yeah.
did you like that? Or you, like,
No,
you still,
it was
it's still
awful,
on your
but
head?
it was like we couldn't jeopardize, like it would have gone against, the health
whole-
department.
yeah.
Like, I mean, we were trying to be good citizens because they could shut us down at any time
Yeah.
to like keep from, because we wanted to play the next season. And then,
Man.
just,
Well, what can we do to get a parade? Because I think we got so many players that's like have stopped playing basketball since and retired. Danny Green just retired, and he was on that team.
yeah.
So like, I think that's that moment in time.
Okay,
like,
well, don't rule it out. Maybe someday, someday something will make sense. So
I
I'll
hope
never
it does
close the
make
door 100%. Like something will make sense. We'll see.
yeah, because
Right?
it's just like I just want to
I know.
for all of us to
You
have
guys
that
deserved
that
it,
moment
yeah.
together. Like.
Yeah.
We deserve that moment. And I know a lot of people talked about that bubble championship like it wasn't special or it wasn't like any other championships. Like, all of us went through so much, in our personal lives. You lost so many people that was dear to
Yeah.
you that year.
Yep.
And it was like we all had to get shut out. So I know that was so difficult for the world to deal with. And, for you that year was did that championship, I know it can never like take away all the things that have happened, but in that moment in time, did that kind of give you like, you knew that all those loved ones that had transitioned, that they were with you in these moments?
It definitely helped give purpose to, continuing the work. Like if I felt kind of lost, like what does everything mean in this? And it's just, it's just a job. And and so I think about, if I've inspired the next woman that's going to win an NBA championship, bringing together the team, just showing that we could be resilient and, put on a season that
Yeah,
was really amazing.
It was, and it ended on a awesome note with a championship. But I was sad.
I know.
I was sad. I wanted to come back, and I don't know what had happened.
You took an offer from the Philadelphia 76ers.
See, I think that we were just told so many different things. And I think now, looking back on it, with the situation that I had with my agent, and him actually getting convicted and being a part of the whole crime.
It was the same guy. Like,
He was a part of it. Yeah, the same
now
agent.
that makes a little more sense.
So, like, I don't even know what the truth was, because what I was told was that you guys didn't have an offer for me.
Oh, no,
And
that's not true. We
see,
made an offer.
I
We
never
did.
even knew that. He told
Yeah.
me, well, actually, he said that you guys had an offer, and then he said you guys took the offer back and said no.
It's all about the salary cap and the timing, because you have to get accepted offers when you have the cap space. Otherwise, it's like,
Yeah, see,
they call it timing of
I
how
don't know
the contracts go. Right.
any of that works. So I was hurt because I felt like, the team that we had was going to be back together again.
Yeah.
So, I thought that I had did something wrong. I thought there was something, and JaVale as well, because he said that after that season, he didn't get a contract and he didn't come back.
From us, he got another contract. He did. He got a good. I think he signed a 3-year deal somewhere.
He said, well, I don't know.
I know you have to look back at it.
Yeah, I just wish we would have had a chance to run it back.
I know.
Do you feel like if we would have like kept the team together, we would have won a couple championships?
So. I feel like when you win a championship, that's when you give the guys a chance to defend their title. And it just, Rondo left. He got a deal somewhere. I don't know if did we trade Danny Green or did he get signed as a free agent?
I think he got, he got, I don't remember.
I remember. If we're going to have this conversation, we should have all the facts straight instead of guessing what it was. But once there was 3 or 4 guys not coming back, then it wasn't the same anyway.
So y'all did have an offer for me? Because
yes.
Because from my point of view, I just tell you, I saw news that y'all had signed
was that the year
Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell, and everyone was like, we getting an upgrade at the center position from Dwight and JaVale. And I was like, there's no way. And then I started thinking, was it because I left the Lakers the first time?
No. I didn't understand it either, except that must have been the year we were trying to get Kawhi. So we needed to create the cap space. And that's why you had to do it in the right timing.
So see, then I would.
But that's something
I don't know. I would probably be upset. I think for a player, if a team is saying we have a contract, but you have to wait to sign it, or we got to sign other players first, it'll just seem like you're not a priority.
I could see why you would feel that way, and probably what another team trying to sign you would say to you to put us down. But that's not who we are, and that. That's not.
I was so hurt. I mean, I really thought that you guys were just like, shoot, we got our championship, we found some better pieces, and we're gonna move on. So, I didn't, whatever happened, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, and I really wish that team, there's been, conversations where I've had, publicly where I'm like, man, they should have kept us together. It was Rob's fault, this, that, and the third, and when I'm saying those things and stuff like that, viewers, I want you guys to understand a lot of times, as a man, I know how to articulate my feelings. And it could just be a feeling or an emotion at that time. It doesn't mean that it's coming from a place of anger or malice or hurt, or I'm saying it to down Rob Pelinka or anybody from the Lakers. It is me expressing my feelings in that moment. So.
And you're entitled to that.
Yeah, and I think people don't understand that we are entitled to our opinions.
I wish I had all the exact timing of how everything was. And I know I was the one who said, I don't know if I said upgraded, but I said we feel good about the team we have or whatever. That's me, okay, now we have new guys. You have to speak
good about the team.
Yeah, we have new guys, and it's like it didn't make sense to me either. And I'm not part of the war room when they're signing the deals and the timing and the syncing of contracts and how it all works. But there is an art to it, and it does go by quickly, and teams will use that against poison.
As a player, those some of the things that we don't understand. So it's always good to have that communication. And I wish that we would have had that communication back then to where we could have talked it out and chopped it up before I even signed to go or did anything else with any other team. That would have been a lot better. But sometimes it doesn't. I can't expect that from you.
Right.
Even though we have a relationship, I have a relationship with Linda. Yeah. But that's not, I can't, and sometimes as players, we want that expectation, and that's mixing business with, our, the friendship. Hey, Jeannie's my friend. Like, why didn't they sign,
think about, we traded Shaq.
Yeah.
And, I sit on, he asked me to be on the board of his foundation, which I am. And people forget, there was it was hard.
Some back and forth.
Yeah, it was hard to get over that. I wasn't part of the basketball decision when he was traded.
Right.
But I knew how important he was. And he was entitled to say how he felt.
Yes.
You know, he didn't feel good about being traded because he came to the Lakers as a free
win.
agent,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, very similar. And so, you know, I understand, like, it's hard
It's
not
so
to.
good to have the
Yeah.
conversation because, like, it doesn't leave room for miscommunication. We have an understanding because, you know, for years I was so hurt by that, you know, because I'm like, man, like, I know the first time it was emotional, it was things going on.
Yeah.
Second time it was things going on. Then
Yeah.
it's just like things keep coming on, but it's like, man, like, I love this city, I love this team, I love the culture, like, and I just didn't. It just hurt because it just seemed like we had something.
Yeah.
But it's just like we didn't pursue it like, you know, we should have on both ends. I know on my personal end, there was a lot of things that, you know, I could have been more mature about, you know, but as a young player, as a young man, you don't know those things.
Yeah.
And I don't think people can understand that because they haven't had to become millionaires and 18-year-olds that are heads of franchises, they're the faces of teams and stuff like that. That is a lot. And if you don't have the right people or the right group to guide you in the right direction, it can be tough because now you're allowing your emotions to guide you and get the best of you. And that's not really good.
Well, that's why I worry so much about college athletics with the
NIL.
Yeah,
Yes,
and like
yes.
and the ability, like, now colleges have to have general managers and like they have to deal with.
But now, like, it's great that because they
Yes,
are doing
they
what
earn
they're
the
doing,
money,
they
right.
should get money
Exactly.
for it. But at the same time, they got to get prepared for
There's
it.
gonna
And
be
that's
a
the
lot
thing
of
that I was talking about
misinformation.
with my
Yes.
daughters earlier. Like, I want to prepare them and also my sons for life because once they get out of high school, or even now with this NIL, the world is going to be so open. Things are going to be coming their way, and if they don't understand the tidbits of business and how to move throughout and navigate life, it can get difficult. So, you know, I really appreciate all the knowledge and just the communication with what happened when we were when I was with the Lakers, because I'm like, man, why, like, I wanted to be here. I wanted to win again. Like, we had 3 champions. I just felt like we had an opportunity to do something so special. And I know, again, like I've said, I was hurt at Rob, and I know it ain't him. But, you know, I had to really look back and see, like, hey, this is their business. It's just like if I'm running an organization or business, I have to do what's best for whatever I'm doing. This is my passion. I can't take it personal. And so I think for players, we look at it like, man, this is what we do for a living. We play. Like, they can't play with us. But again, this is their living. This is what they're doing, and we gotta have that communication.
We would have been better off staying together.
It's so tough, but it's so
was like
much.
a misdirection or a like understanding,
Yes.
and you know, I mean,
It was just so much of that. Like, we're dealing with that. Like, what does it take to run like an effective like organization? Because it seems so tough. Like, I know that at that point I probably wasn't ready to own the team.
right?
But, you know, you've done this for so long. You've had to deal with so many personalities and characters and stuff like that. Like, how do you keep yourself, like, do you have like 10 assistants, or like, what do you do to keep your mind focused on what it is?
You have to, like, communication is the key.
Yes.
And you have to have people around you that you trust.
Okay.
And in this business, unfortunately, there's leaks and there's, you know, people that will spread false information. And if you don't have your feet on the ground and know, you know, it can throw you completely off. And then you end up making poor
Bad decisions and stuff like that. Yeah. So, man, that is I think I needed to hear that because one day I do plan, and hopefully I'll be an owner of a team.
I think you will.
And but we started a league in Asia. We have an Asian league right now, professional league for young and upcoming players, even if you have experience. But right now, until our league gets up, we want to provide an opportunity for players to be able to be seen for other leagues.
Right.
You know, it's called the Asian Tournament. We play in 6 different countries right now, and it's going great. But it's very difficult being the head of an organization. I kind of understand just meeting players, and players are like, hey, this happened with my team. You need to fix it. And I'm like, hey, that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? So, like, really, that's what kind of helped me understand, like, your position and how you have to deal with things. And I'm like, man, I feel so bad for saying what I'm saying about Rob and Jeanie and even all these teams. And it wasn't just personal against them. It's just like, I'm expressing how I feel at the time.
We understand
and,
that.
You know, and,
we know.
And it's not like I want to go against any of these people because I'm not that type of person. I enjoy every place I played. I wanted to be the best teammate, the best person around the locker room or whatever. Like, even when I played for the Lakers, I was probably, I don't know if it was crazy to y'all, but I was saging the locker room and saging the whole building because it's just, I wanted to bring just positive energy to the building. It wasn't nothing that I wanted to bring negative. So, you know, it was just awesome that I could say I had an opportunity to be a part of history, playing for the Lakers, playing with Kobe, playing with LeBron, AD, you know, just just being able to do all that, and it's just so amazing. And to have you again on the podcast has been great. And to finally just get some of that energy I had that was so like, why out? But just to get it out and just hear you, you know, explain so much from a different light, and that I have a better understanding of the team, the Lakers, you, and so I'm just appreciative for you coming on my show today.
Well, I answered your call as soon as you put it in.
Yes.
Like, you are always part of our life forever and ever and ever. Like,
Thank you.
You're Lakers through and through. I'm very impressed with your ability to communicate, how well you're doing on Dancing with the Stars, like that, how you take challenges and you do the work.
Thank you.
And I'm a fan.
Thank you so much. Well, hopefully you can come back and give us some more great advice.
Always,
And
anytime.
we want to have a episode just dedicated for young women, and you know, just we're gonna have some other women of stature who can come and give some great advice, and to also just inspire our youth. And women are, like, right now, the women, the empowerment, everything is great. Shout out to all you women out there who are doing an amazing thing. And this dancing has got me in shape. So with that, dancing has got me in shape. I'm in shape for basketball, so Jeanie, give me one more chance. Lakers, give me one. Well, you guys, you've just watched the greatest podcast ever, Above the Rim with Dwight Howard. We just had one of the most epic women in the world, one of the innovators, the pioneers in women's sports, Jeanie Buss, joining us today. Thank you, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, and comment. Let us know who you want to see next on the show. Shout out to all Laker Nation, everyone who loves the Lakers around the world. Peace and love and happiness to you. Go vote. Love you guys. Peace and love.